Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. I'm really excited about today's guest, Casper. He's an AI automation expert and he's got a fantastic story. He quit his 9 to 5 software engineer making over 100K a year and because he wanted to build his own business and make an impact. So many entrepreneurs I talked to have this story. It's going to be fantastic. I love talking tech, entrepreneur, AI, automation, software. So Casper, welcome.
Thank you, Christopher, for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
Yeah. So kind of introduce yourself, your name, your background, how you got started, and we'll delve right into the conversation.
Sure. So my name is Kacper Tokarczyk. I'm from Poland. I have 6 years of software engineering experience. I used to work in corporate and startup environments. And like you said, I quit my job December last year because I could foresee how my future would look like, just being in this 9 to 5 environment. And I always wanted to achieve something more, especially now when you see all these entrepreneurs making what I was making yearly in a month, for example, and making such a huge impact. So that's why I started this journey, and I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah, it's so interesting because I have a colleague and he worked for Deloitte. He's making like 250K a year. This was back in 2006, and he was like, "I can't stand this." He set out his own company, went public 2020. So many stories, inspirational stories, and it's kind of like when you look back, it's like on your life, it's like if you regret the things that you didn't do versus the things you did do and you failed at. It's totally so. Kudos to you. So kind of talk about most conversations I'm having these days on the podcast are about AI. It's really changing a lot of things. Talk about unlocking the potential of AI and revolutionizing business.
Yes. So where I focus on is this kind of conversational AI. So mostly I'm building AI chatbots that people can put either on their website or some messaging platforms like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. And these kind of are like they are their own assistants. So the main benefit they bring is improved clients experience. So imagine you go on a website and normally you would search the website for some specific information. And today you can just ask a chatbot and get the right information right away. So that's one part of the business. And the other one is doing all kinds of automations of internal processes of different businesses. So the way we leverage AI there is to kind of analyze the steps in the process and make appropriate decisions automatically.
Yeah, I love that because I'm going to several automation conferences, talking about AI automation, chatbots, kind of SMS and WhatsApp, this like these new ways of reaching customers, automations, really fascinating. And so kind of talk about, what AI solutions are your clients mostly interested in?
So most people reach out for chatbots, and I kind of treat them like a foot in the door for me to explore their business and find ways to kind of automate processes or make some impact on their business with AI. And a few of my clients they had these cool ideas for like kind of software as a service platforms with AI integrations. So I've built 2 of those, and I'll give you an example. One was for a friend that is in education kind of industry in US, and I built this platform for him where AI facilitates the conversation between 2 students to kind of help them resolve the conflict. So the way it works is in school, they could kind of choose their stance on a different set of topics, and they were matched against each other. And then AI kind of facilitated their problem resolution. So that's there's like creativity is the limit with this kind of solutions.
Yeah, because most of the conversations I've had are with around ChatGPT and kind of generative AI, and so this is interesting. This idea of chatbots. So kind of moving on is with this AI, what do you see the landscape like? What's evolving? What's new? Like how is it changing?
So I think it becomes more and more accessible to masses. Like, for example, recently OpenAI released a new kind of set of features called GPTs, which basically I think even my mom could just go in there and create her own GPT. So something that I'm getting paid for currently. But there's still this gap. Like some business owners didn't even hear about AI yet. So there is still room for service providers like me to help, but I think it will become even more accessible for everyone, and I think that's it.
Yeah, it's really interesting because I started using ChatGPT in January of this year. I'm using it now, and it's like night and day what it can do. It's like what it can output. It's all in a year or two. It's almost going to be like really, and it can analyze patterns and like for example like a legal brief that I didn't really understand. I just put in the URL and it kind of gave me the layman's terms, which is like I said. The conversation around AI is getting more and more important. The safety as well. Talk about what's interesting is this idea of AI safety and what can go wrong with AI chatbots or kind of like what are the things that to look out for.
So with the chatbots in particular, they usually operate on maybe not so private, but kind of business details. So business owners and I, when I build a chatbot, I have to be careful what kind of data we feed into it because it's hosted in some cloud and we're not kind of securing it ourselves. So we have to trust third parties with that. So that's where the kind of security risk is. And in general, with AI as a whole, I think I recently watched a kind of a great talk where they compared what's happening with AI right now to what happened with social media over the past few years, where when social media was starting, like we didn't know that it would go that far, like affect political kind of voting and all the bad things that come with it when it comes to teenagers getting addicted, like the attention span getting shortened, like all these issues came up out of nowhere. And they kind of talked about how with AI, it's the same thing, but there's a different set of issues that come with it that we don't even realize yet. So it will be interesting to kind of watch how that evolves.
Yeah, it's like the internet, and then when all the websites, and then search, and then basically data privacy, and then so you're talking about social media and just kind of like anxiety and bullying. But it's been actually used. It's had a lot of useful cases, for kind of instant updates and kind of letting people know, instant connectivity networks, and but it also comes with a lot of bad things too. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting how AI evolves and develops because we haven't seen anything bad yet, but when it does, it's going to be like government's going to come in and regulate it. Or so you've kind of transitioning. You had a high paying software engineering job. You quit your job. You were able to actually make 10K over the past 6 months as a freelancer. Kind of talk to people interested in making the leap or jump, how you did it.
Yes, so the way I did it, I wouldn't recommend it because I kind of quit and I didn't have anything set up. So I just quit, and then I had to figure it out. So what I did, I tried to set up a web design agency first. So I got into some course, learned web design, and tried to serve some clients. I've built a couple of websites, but the results were pretty bad. So it kind of failed. I wasted 3 months on that and didn't make any money, didn't bring any results to my clients. So then I tried something where the results are kind of immediate. So it was social media marketing. So I started marketing to boxing coaches because I also recently, like back a few months ago, I started to train boxing. So started doing marketing for boxing coaches and also spent like 3 months on that. And I only made like $50 1 month, kind of breaking even on the ad spend. And by that time, so I'm like 6 months in this kind of entrepreneurship, and I almost ran out of my savings. So then I found out this new AI wave. And this was kind of connected to my software engineering background, so something where I could leverage my previous skills. So I jumped into that, and I knew that I have to make it work this time because, otherwise I would have to go back to get some job. So yeah, that's what I did actually. And what's funny, I started on Fiverr. I'm not sure if you know the platform. The platform that usually like first thing that comes to mind when you say Fiverr is like cheap, kind of low quality, and probably some some other characteristics. But there are actually big clients on Fiverr, and I started with kind of low prices just to get some experience, get some clients. And, like there was a lot of traction on these AI services, chatbots in particular. So I started building up the reputation. And so far I served over 20 clients. And yeah, these chatbots are just, like I said, they are just foot in the door, where I then explore the client's business and can propose more complex and better paid solutions to them. So that's how I've made only 2,000 like direct on Fiverr, and the rest was kind of this relationship that we've built for the long term.
Yeah. And the good thing is, now that you have a system, you can expand and, you can have new ideas, new ways of providing value, new revenue streams, which is interesting. So I assume you're in your early 20s, and there's this really great YouTube video by Ken Griffin. He's a Citadel Securities, big trading firm. And he's talking about in these day and age, if you're in your 20s, do exactly what you did is, quit your job and start something and fail because, when you're in your 40s or 50s, you don't have as much time and energy. You have a lot, you may have a wife and kids and mortgage, all that. So like now is the time to like learn and kind of go all in, and basically not having anything set up makes you more motivated. So you also talked about you invested a lot in masterminds, real life events, change your life. That helped you. Talk about that.
Yes, so I actually quit my job after the first mastermind I attended. It was in Marbella in December. So I actually two weeks after that I decided to quit. It's kind of, so I would say that I was always in self-development and kind of I had these big goals that I wanted to achieve, but in my environment here, I don't have any friends that are also about this kind of, big dreams and trying to achieve something more. So I was always kind of, I'm not sure how to say it, but kind of in secret, developing myself and like learning about all of this.
Yeah.
And when I went to this mastermind, it opened my eyes that there are people like me who also have and I can, talk to them in person. So that was mind blowing. And I got the courage to quit my job and try to do my own thing.
Yeah. I love that. Kind of, you realize that there's a community and there's people like-minded, just like you. There's a great book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, Power of the Mastermind. And basically it's like, once you plug yourself into a network, it's exponential because the energy and you take action and just people, supporting each other. You talk about like-minded network. The other thing is talking about, fitness, and most entrepreneurs I talk to, they prioritize fitness, like, especially cardiovascular strength, flexibility, posture alignment, all this. So kind of talk about how your fitness and right mindset can skyrocket your business.
Sure. So when I transitioned from corporate environment to startup environment, I was working in blockchain industry. So I basically went from making like $3,000 per month in corporate to kind of making over 9 in this startup. So this was like a big leap for me. And funny enough, before I quit, I was really focused on my physique. I was working out 5 times per week, and I was like kind of having this mindset. I was always grateful for anything that was happening. And then when I was at the startup environment, I kind of burnt out. I sacrificed my health to perform better at this position, since it was so life-changing and I wanted to keep it and excel at it. And then, I quit, but my health was kind of, I went from 88 kg body weight to like 78. So lost 10 kg in a year. And then, the struggle started after I quit my job. So maybe it's not directly correlated because I quit and I changed the environment. But I think fitness kind of goes hand in hand with success in entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And then because a lot of entrepreneurs, it's interesting because you say you lost weight, but most people here they gain weight. So but it's interesting because most entrepreneurs they say fitness, and basically because it's kind of like if you're lazy with your body and your diet and your sleep and cold showers, meditation, and mindset, then you become lazy in your business and your relationships and your finances. And so it's kind of like that's your way of like maintaining peak performance. So talk about, and all of the successful entrepreneurs I talk to, they have a morning routine, and why it's important. What do you do? Kind of set the tone.
Yeah, I love that you asked this question because I've been focusing on my morning routine. I fine-tuned it to perfection over the past few weeks. And basically, why I will start off by saying why it is important. So my morning routine is about stacking these small wins right the moment I wake up. So by the time it's like 9 a.m., I already stacked like 10 wins. So how do you think the rest of my day goes when I win the moment I wake up? So basically what I do is I start with hydration. I do kind of water with Celtic sea salt to hydrate my body. Then I jump straight into journaling. I kind of do 4 things during the journaling. So I start with a power list, which is the 5 things that I want to accomplish that day. Then I write 4 agreements. This is a book. I actually haven't read it yet, but the 4 agreements are basically the 4 rules that I try to live by every day, and they kind of make sure that my days are successful. And then on the other page, I write 10 things that I am grateful for, and down below I write a letter to God, thanking him thanking him for everything that I have. So yeah, and after that, and that's not the end. After that, I do my breath work. I'm not sure if you've probably heard about Wim Hof.
Yeah.
So I'm using his app, doing 2 or 3 rounds of breath work, and after that I take a walk with my dog. And 4 times per week I also then go straight into my workout, and that's it. Then it's usually about 10 a.m. and I can start my work.
Yeah. I love that. I love how you talk about stacking wins, and basically, you wake up early, that's a win. You work out, you're already, far ahead of 99% of people. And like I said, most entrepreneurs, they have a morning routine, they stick to it, gets them in the right frame of mind, and helps them to achieve peak performance. As we close and kind of end this podcast, what are some tidbits about people interested in entrepreneurship, limiting beliefs, building strong relationships, where people can find like-minded groups, and then how can they reach you and check out your work?
Yeah, so I'm kind of not sure if I'm in a position right now to kind of give this advice, but if I were to, then I would say first I would focus on kind of getting in the right environment. So actually finding like-minded people. So maybe whatever your industry is, try to join Discourse, or I'm pretty sure you can find it just by Googling some kind of influencers, and then see if they have a community, then connect with people there. It's kind of all about networking. So also when you're in community, don't just read, but you have to be proactive, reach out to people and make these connections.
Yeah.
And other than that, I think if you're trying to start an agency, let's say, so I am pretty sure Fiverr is the kind of the best option versus doing the cold outreach for forever and wasting time. So if you set up your profile on Fiverr, then you have this kind of magnet setup that is working for you 24/7, and then you can go back to cold outreach. But there are some hot leads coming in pretty much every week. So I think that's the good strategy to position yourself that way. And then, I think this is, if I were to do everything again, I would start with Fiverr for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because kind of like if you look at like Airbnb or Uber or DoorDash, all these are online marketplaces for, kind of renting or cars, services, all these. And then it's interesting, Fiverr, Upwork, all these are online marketplaces for talent, creative talent. So and then yeah, I love this idea of a profile, and like social media marketing is like kind of like marketing your brand and message and your business. How can people follow you, contact you, reach out to you?
Yes, so I'm mainly active on Instagram. It's Kacper AI,
Yeah,
and I'm posting every day. I'm posting my morning routine, just documenting my journey every single day, super consistently. So if you want to kind of watch it, then feel free to follow.
yeah, yeah. And for Casper, I really enjoyed this conversation. And you have a bright future ahead of you. Stay consistent, keep going at it. All of the resources will be in the links and show notes. Be sure to follow him on Instagram, give him a follow, and with that, thanks so much for coming onto the podcast.
Thank you a lot, Christopher. That was very good conversation. Thank you.